What up, y'all? Welcome to Hotepish, Intelligent Ish Talk, Intelligent Shit Talk. I am here with our favorite guest, DrRandyshort. How you doing today, Dr. Short?
White woman, brother. I'm good. That's how we greet. I started that 30 years ago, just pretending that if black folk took over the planet, uh, uh, all these black men that are swirlers, white women would become collateral. That's an actual, this is like some science fiction garbage. Also, because people always claim that black men think about white women all the time. And I just imagine if we were to just act like that a little bit, that we all wanted to assimilate and marry white females, how upset everybody would be. So, I mean, if you're a brother out there listening, if you're having an argument with the black female or she's being ignorant, just keep saying white woman, white woman, white woman. I did it. It was really worked. How dare you stop saying that to me? And that's not even a curse word. That's the power of the word white woman in American culture and Black American culture. So yeah, I would get on the elevator when I lived in the dorms at Howard and wait until it's packed with black women and say white woman. And you could feel all the hate. All I do is just say white woman. Don't say anything. Just say white woman and be a black man. And there was so much hate. The women couldn't wait to get off the elevator because they heard a black man say white woman. All you have to do is say white woman. And then because they figure if it came out of your mouth, it's in your mind, it's in your heart. He wants white women. He's so crazy, it came out of his mouth. So I would just go in and walk by and say white woman, people, and have people get angry, women want to fight and stuff. And you didn't do anything. You see how loaded that term is? So
yeah,
and
loaded
so
as hell.
I greet my brothers and I often say white woman instead of saying God bless you. So white woman, brother Dwan, and white woman, all you black men, and white man, because it's like gender based. So a black, you can't say white man to me because I don't want a white man. I have one white woman. So, and like, you know, you have different, you have masculine and feminine in certain languages. So to black women, since they all want a zaddy, you say white man. 1,000 white men for you, sister. In other words, I want you to prosper, be happy, have kids with green eyes and hair you can't comb, and all that kind of stuff. So white woman to you brothers and white man to you sisters. And
your did you hit mute?
the sound went off.
There you are.
Okay. If they wanted everybody black, all the black men to get vaccinated, all they'd have to do is offer them white women. And so we're lucky that there's racism in this country, where they're not racist white men and women. And they just says, all you brothers can get some white coochie. They've offered everything. Fried fish, that's almost pussy. They've offered donuts, that's almost pussy. They've offered weed, that's a substitute for pussy for some people. They've offered cookies, lottery tickets. I mean, they may as well, if they offered niggas jobs, they could get rid of all of us to take this shot.
Very true.
Black women, white men, and or children that are light skinned. I mean, man, everybody be lining up. They be getting boosters, be stealing the vaccine stuff to take home, injecting pills. And so many folks on heroin these days, man, I heard this thing really give you a different sort of high. So they shake it up with the heroin and shoot it and see if it does something for them. Anyway, or they could offer fentanyl. And by the way, if they offered Oxycontin, there wouldn't be any white people left because they'd all be they're trying to get their free Oxycontin. Man, I got 10 pills. This will last me like for 2 hours. Anyway.
Wow. Man, Dr. Short, we we back on it, and you were in the groundbreaking documentary Bug Breaking. It was like, for those of us who've seen it, we loved it. We as far as people who I've talked to, a lot of things that you said jumped off the screen, and they really hit home to a lot of us. And so I want to first of all say great job for your contribution, because you contributed something that people can hold and move forward with.
Good.
How was it filming that film? Like Buck, what are some of your takeaways, through your experiences filming it? And then give me some of your takeaways after you watched and saw it. What are some of your takeaways from it?
Let me say to you, I was shocked that Cedrick Should asked me to be a part of it, because I was in Tennessee, Kentucky, back and forth, and he was arriving in DC the same day I was coming back from Tennessee. And so I was excited. I mean, I'm really pissed. I'm hoping to work with Angela Stanton King and other people. And there's a group I was a part of, Gone Too Far, where we've been saying no to some of this stuff for a while, for at least 2 years, although things that have been involved have go back even further. So Cedrick was cool. Mm-hmm. Everything was nice. And he was very pleasant. I'd never met him before. So that was cool. And just, it was fun. I had a lot of fun just sharing. He had a question too on Bird Island. Some of the questions, I'd never heard of Bird Island, but they've got these kinds of islands off the coast of New England where they bring kids from Haiti for the Catholic priests to rape them. Ooh. Okay, so you don't have to go to another country. And if you don't have to go to South Africa, if you go to another country, you can just go to Haiti, where the Clintons, under the Obama administration, others have set up institutions to reinforce pedophilia and molestation of Black women and children. I mean, the United Nations peacekeeper forces made 100,000 bastards in Haiti. They were raping, in fact, making videotapes. Even the peacekeepers were raping women and boys and men and making videos of it. So this has happened, by the way, under Obama, Susan Rice, all of these Black folks in high places that did nothing but help this stuff go on. But anyway, that was the one thing that stumped me. Otherwise, I shared a lot of stuff. Some of the things I mentioned to him, I saw thematically he integrated into it. Maybe we think the same, or maybe I taught him something. But I was very pleased. The whole film was good. There needs to be 5 or 6 of these, because people say I was funny. You didn't hear the good stuff. I mean, what Cedrick was very kind. He was the kind of myself. We talked for about an hour, 15 minutes, and you saw maybe 3 minutes, and you didn't even see much of what was being said. You got a taste. And I suspect the same is true for the other guests. And the same is true when I met you for Black, White, and Blue. I gave Curtis Schoon a very strong interview. And maybe they used, out of an hour, 20 minutes, they probably used 7 minutes. So, frankly, they should do a producer's special cut for Buck Breaking and just let people have a deluxe edition, buy 2 or 3 of the DV, have 2 or 3 with all the stuff in. You want some extent, put another one out and let people have maybe 30, 40 minutes of the people they like the most. You get where
I get what you're saying with that.
He would, now that you've got one film out, he could do just like Ray Charles did with modern sounds and country and western music. He did one, and that did so good. I can't stop loving you, right? Then they put out another one, which is modern sounds and country and western music part 2. Both were in the top 5 at the same time back in 1962. Cedrick should put another one out. I hope he makes a whole lot of money. And by the way, I hope, he does more of these. So I enjoyed it. I liked all the speakers. It could have been 5 hours. It would have been fascinating. We need this out. Our people need to wake up. It's serious, 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 serious threats to us. And, I had an ancestor, at least what I was told, I have family from Gastonia, North Carolina. And one of the people that's from Gastonia, North Carolina, his last name was Brooks. That's a part of my family. That this man was a breeder, meaning that his job was to screw all the women he could to get them pregnant. That's someone in my family that was enslaved. Basically, his job was to keep, before Viagra or Cialis existed, or what's the thing called, extends,
Yes,
to
yes,
just
yes.
pop as many pussies as he could and get these women pregnant to create chattel, which is another word for cattle, property, to produce black babies that would be grown up to raised up to become slave laborers. So this buck breaking stuff isn't out of something, and that's just someone banging women, I guess, as young as 10 years old. So imagine this buck breaking that has happened, not just in slavery, but it happens in the military. Jeffrey Dahmer was buck breaking, raping black men while he was in the United States military and got an honorable discharge. Okay, it's real
I didn't
talk.
know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that. They cover this up. And buck breaking is happening throughout the Child and Family Services, where you get a guy like, his last name is Lombard. It's a white man adopting black kids and raping the hell out of them down in Florida. This is happening all over the country. There's a place in Marianna, Florida, where they were bringing black boys that were in either not foster care, in boys' homes. And there's a mass grave of dead black boys. This is real. This happens. And what's even worse is that we've internalized it, wherein we have a high rate of pedophilia and molestation within our race, people raping kids, men and women. And these children that are outraged and destroyed end up becoming the most militant drag queens, female impersonators, and others. And, macho, wacho, YMCA studs, right? Okay. Because they've been outraged. And you're not born that way, but if you get molested, you can become that way. And
that's the part that people don't quite understand, because
they do understand we're liars. The black community is lying to itself. You can't be in the belly of the beast and not have the gastric juices, corrosive gastric juices of the beast all over you. You've been marinated in the gastric juices of the beast, then you take on some of the characteristics of the beast. And we sometimes not only take it on, we embellish it. White folks snort cocaine. I got to snort cocaine. White folks, they can't keep all the AIDS. We got to get some AIDS. We live in America. Y'all got to share some of that AIDS with us, And they were the same way with Corona. Man, none of us got that. Well, they won't see us as truly part of the country until some of us die, right?
You're right about that, but going to what you said, like me, as someone who works with children a lot, I've seen that connection between molestation and that outcome. Now, I get it. There's people out there listening. I'm not saying everybody that's gay has been molested. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying it is, there's a lot of children who I've worked with over the years who've turned out to be gay, who have been molested as far as percentages goes. And it's too high of a percentage for us not to address, just because it's a few people's feelings.
You know what? It's not that it's not a huge amount. It's that once you link up pedastry, pedophilia, and all this stuff to the LGBTQ thing, they don't have the basis for a movement. So there's like this holy grail, like we have Holocaustianity, the worst thing that ever happened, and humanity isn't the great leap forward where maybe 60 million or 70 million people in China died. It's the Holocaust in Europe, and only of the Jews. And I'm not saying that they didn't kill that many. I'm trying to say at this point that there's lots of human suffering. There was a Taiping rebellion in China, maybe 100 million people died. That's not terrible, but 6 million is. So you got to venerate the Holocaust to please certain people. And you have to say that there's absolutely no connection between pedophilia and the homosexual movement. There's just none. And it's a lie, because the founder of the modern homosexual movement in the United States, Harry Hay, was a pedophile. The father of the American sexual revolution, Alfred Kinsey, was a pedophile. Why do we keep getting these pedophiles where there are none? These men are only attracted to men their age. That's a lie. Once the dudes get old and your shelf life is gone, you start chasing younger cats. And if there's no interest in sex with kids, why is kiddie porn sold for tens of thousands of dollars for minutes of video stream? Why are people kidnapping kids, stealing kids? And are all pedophiles homosexual? No, but all pedophiles are all pedophiles. There are men that will screw girls. There are men that will screw boys. There are women that will screw boys. There are women that will screw girls. Okay, and see, they start wanting to split hairs. No.
Yes.
It's LGBTQIAP. P is for pedophilia. They've already put it in there. They put it in there. That's your whole coalition. Well, you mean I can't talk about the P? I can only talk about the L and the G and the B and the T and the Q and the I and the A. Well, we don't know what the P means. You know what that means? It's a white power movement. And that's powerful white folks say, we don't want you talking about how we get our freak on. We need to understand back in slavery, they used to sell Black children by the dozens for people to pleasure themselves. They used to sell Black children by the pound. Okay, you could do whatever you wanted to these kids. They used to sell twins in New Orleans. That was a specialty. Get two boys and have two brothers screwing you. This is as old as America. And I'm not saying that some Black folks don't enjoy it, but it was driven by rich, powerful, deviant white people. And Black sellout sexuality coons who put how they get their freak on ahead of their people have become an enemy to all of us. You know, there's a woman whose family was destroyed with cancer because their family they own like 200 acres of land down south. White folks poisoned their drinking water. They all got cancer and they covered it up with the family die-off. When this lady was talking about environmental racism, let me share with you what Black trader queers do. You're talking about a bread and butter issue of safe drinking water and preventing people from getting cancer and all these things from being the victims of environmental racism. And you know what? A little Black sodomite will come in and start talking about gay rights, as if someone was taking away. Look, that same sodomite would have to drink the poison water. What does he have against the water being clean? So in other words, you're talking about environmental racism, you're trying to get redressed, your family's dying and all this, and someone starts talking about sex. You know who used to do that, brother?
Who?
If you ever do any research, when you would talk about justice for Black people, white people would bring up the issue of sex. These Black boys would want to have sex with white girls so they go to school with them. And that basically shut it down because it would end up being Black-white sex. Now they've changed the goalposts. And when you talk about equity, now they use Black traders who think cum is a soft drink. Okay, that you want to get schools or housing or jobs, and they start talking about sex and sex changes and all this stuff. And basically it divides and it frustrates people. This is what certain Black folks are doing. They're traders. I'm gonna just tell you, I'm completely against anybody putting their hands on anybody else, but I'll say this. In another country, if we were trying to get something and someone raised the issue of sex, I'm saying this to you, they would kill that person. You would just be gone. Now, for them not to understand that we're a compassionate culture, for the most part, for you to act like this and nobody's put their hands on you and you're out there screaming about how poorly you treated, it's illogical and it's irrational. And let those same Black folks go in who are gay, who disrupt stuff in our community. Let's see them go into a white community and act the same way. They'd end up missing and disappear. Like the little Black dude they found in the desert. Remember, he's an actor out in California. He probably got in a car with some white guys and he thought these white men love me because I have a bubble butt. And they ended up taking his organs and leaving him dead in the middle of the desert. The white gays don't love Black gays, but Black gays hate the Black community because we won't tell them that they're bussy is a pussy.
Uh,
And the same thing, we won't tell a black butch that her strap on is the same as one of these rock hard penises that an ordinary man should have. And if he can't, I hope he doesn't have COVID dick from getting the jab. Okay, so this buck breaker thing is going to force the issue that this is a new white supremacist attack on our people. And now we know who the agents are, like Billy Porter or Little As X. Okay, or Little As Sex. These people are enemies of our community. We've had gay performers before, all along. Bessie Smith used to screw my great-grandfather. Okay, and she would be gay until she got to town. Then she'd be straight until she left, right, in Norfolk, right? Little Richard's gay. Ma Rainey's gay. One of the singers of the Drifters is gay. People say Sam Cooke was screwing Bobby Womack. I hope that's not true. I love Sam Cooke. We're gonna make Sam Cooke's gonna be straight. I don't care. Yeah. Okay, I don't care. I don't receive it. Okay, we've had plenty of people that were gay, played sports, and black folks loved them. What we don't like is it being forced. You have a personal issue, a personal preference, or a personal problem, and you're trying to legislate laws and getting policies set around it to try to treat it as if it's normative. It might happen. It won't make people like it. That's the reason why if you put my name in YouTube, and mind you, you've never ever heard me say hurt anybody, take anybody's rights from anybody, nothing like that. My thing is don't take my rights.
Nothing.
Don't take my stuff away because you do something else. This is why you can't get me on YouTube. And so someone thinks, and it's interesting, there are people out here who act as if black people collectively murdered Matthew Shepard and we owe them reparations. Well, I don't believe it, I don't receive it, and I don't care. Mm-hmm. And I feel the same way about feminism. In fact, that's the thing I loved about buck breaking. I kept talking bad about feminism in my interview with Tariq. And my quote was, although I don't think he used it, that white supremacy is a mom and pop operation. It's not just pop.
Yeah, he did. I want to go right into that. I want to hear more. I want to hear you expand on that.
Well, my spin is that the greatest, some of the greatest enemies that we have are racist females. There's a woman within the last day. I mean, she looked like Bob's big boy with glasses. She's a lesbian, and she ran over 2 black women in Elizabeth City. There's a black woman journalist in New Orleans who's being threatened by a white woman who was cyber stalking her. The hatred and contempt and oppression of black people has been a collective. The black female sodomite swirlers, like the Black Lives Matter people, because they're sleeping with a white lover, their view of white people as a collective is different. It's skewed. Maybe it's all the piss in their eyes. Okay. This was not done with just white males. It's not fair to say all white men are racist. But almost half of the slaves in America were owned by women, about 46%.
Yes.
Right, white women owning black people. Do you think that they had folks raped any less, beaten any less? No. So this new little narrative of white women being oppressed, like, it's garbage. I told white woman, she was mad. This movie that came out called Traffic, and I was having lots of fun because there was a scene where they animalized a black man in sex. He was screwing this white woman, and they had this pile driver, the things that drive the steel beams into the ground. They made him humping on her sound like a machine pounding the lady. And so to make fun of it, I started talking like Dr. King. Let freedom ring in every hamlet in every state, right? And let freedom ring from the marvelous mountains of Mississippi. And people started laughing, and other people got mad because, let freedom ring. And this lady afterwards said to me, we were oppressed too. I says, how were you? You mean you got You got tendinitis holding mint julep glasses while we did all the work. Get out of my face, broad. She left after that. It's like, come on. I mean, all those hoop skirts that were paid for off of our sweat, blood, and tears. Get out my face. Our problem, the white females are a big problem, and white females have been the most effective in hurting Black people in particular because they have the greatest suckers to ever have vaginas that are on their squad. It's called dumbass Black women, dumbass Black women. Okay, they're the dumbest ass women. In fact, Trump will probably be president again if you look at these elections being overturned and they're investigating it. Man, I can't wait for the Chucks and Pearls bras to get pap, 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 pap. They're going to get beat down really great. They know that these Black women who hate their hair, hate their nose, hate their lips, hate their men, and in particular hate their babies. They brought an abortion and all of this anti-family stuff Black women have brought home, like my cat, selfish, killing animals and stuff and bringing it to the door, right? And I have to fight with the cat, don't bring this shit in here. They've used these dumb pork chop feminists, lesbian pork chop feminist traitors to destroy the Black community. And see, there's payback because I'm looking at this stuff and it really hurts me that I've seen an explosion and all sorts of young millennial simps and sometimes not so millennial shooting and killing women and babies all over the country. Who brought this death culture into the Black community? You sisters, y'all did this. And y'all did this because the white women told you it was a good thing. And they used the Black woman to push the corona shots. Her name was Kissy, right out of Roots, which is a fake book. We can have that discussion.
Yep.
I know Roots was stolen from my cousin. So Alex Hill, when I did see him, I gave him the middle finger. There's a picture somewhere in the family album. That's like, oh my God, almost 50 years ago. Anyway, let me just say to you, the white women have been more effective. In fact, Margaret Sanger said to the Klan, let me take care of your Negroes. And she's proven to be true. And she's used Black women, including Coretta Scott King. And what's this other woman? The one that looks like, a gorilla, buffoon. Mary
Yeah.
Look at gorilla with the bouffant wig on. Anyway, she was running after Margaret saying, I've been to the papers, her begging and wanting to help out and so forth. They have used a lot of times these really unattractive Shirley Chisholm. Oh my God. I mean, look like a moose with glasses. They've got these unattractive Black women to push all of this filth. It's never a good looking Black woman.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? I mean, you don't see a really sexy, fine Black woman say kill babies, but you see one that looks like they fell off Mount McKinley with no face mask. They're the ones talking about killing babies and love is love. It's always, I'm serious. It's just like the ugly girls at school that got pregnant, want to get all the other girls at school to get pregnant too. Yes, this is the trait. Misery loves company, and a whole lot of miserable pork chop feminist traitor broads have brought this garbage. And sadly, hold on, let me just, because for all the feminists out there that get mad, don't worry. I don't like simps either. They're even worse. All these simps that screw the pork chop feminists part-time. The weak Black man who's a pussy panhandler. He's so weak, he's afraid the world's gonna run out of pussy if he has any integrity, any dignity. In fact, the only time his spine is used is for humping on a woman, if he's straight. No spine for standing up, no spine for getting women checking their asses. They need to get checked. And punk suckers run around shooting everybody need to get checked. So the simps are the white women's other thing, but to a lesser degree, but they're still there. Because a simp, man, give him a white girlfriend, man, he'd kill his whole family. So, and you just good pussy. This is a white pussy, right? It'd have a big shanker hanging on it, man. Well, man, that's an Africanism, right? I mean, man, that's an African. See, she's got African tribal markers on her cooch, so she got some Black in her. She got big old booty, and the booty's a white booty, and I love booty, right? Anyway, and plus she paid for half of food when we go to Red Lobster. You have to have the damn crown jewels to take the sister up. But a white woman, you give her gin and tonic, you could school a whole family. I loved it, man. I ain't never going back to good right. Those kinds of, yeah, oh my God, man. And the same one, oh my God. And the white family, you know, the black family, you have to bring your own rock to the crack party. But white people, cocaine is like hospitality. Man, they gave me a whole ashtray. They told me I could have the coke, but the ashtray was like an heirloom that their grandmother had snorted coke back with Duke Ellington in the day, right? These kinds of black, there's so many. The kind that beg for change and shit at the store. And all you have to do is say, I got an EBT. They'll leave you alone. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's a company. I'm on plastic too. What kind of the plastic you got? It's either SSI, EBT. I want the SSI. You get more stuff with that, right? People treat it like it's a gift card. Anyway, yeah, you know, I made a lot of people mad. They're gonna be mad They're gonna be mad. I had someone complain, you need to don't bring Dr. Short anymore. I feel bad. I felt like telling someone, you know, don't blame me. Blame the AIDS medicine in your medicine chest, okay? I'm not the one that did that to you, okay? I'm not the one making you have to use all that. In fact, I would never get down with you because, you know, man. Okay, and I just want to put this out here. I want to shout out to all the people that have come to the aid of Sister Angela Stanton King. You know, she was getting death threats from
Yes. Talk to us about that.
Well, Angela Stanton King went down to South Beach because there's no beach down there, not the kind of stuff they do. And I wouldn't want to be in the beach. I'd be afraid there'd be something in the sand that might mess me up. You haven't heard about the people doodle in the sand and all? People come from the Bahamas and other places be sick because they have tapeworms and stuff in their brains and in their eyes from walking around the dirt because people doodle at the beach. So anyway, she was at South Beach and she went to this club. And she filmed these kids dance with drag queens at an adult club. And when people saw that, they started threatening to kill and burn down the establishment. And so those folks got mad and they threatened to kill Angela and her family. And I found out, because, you know, the world is small, some of us know each other. And I just said, you know, we can't, this is unacceptable. I'm super critical of pork chop feminists.
Yeah.
But I still love Black women, Black people. And I just called friends and said, you know, oh, hell no, you don't threaten to kill a Black woman. Not anybody I know.
Yeah.
Even if I can't fight, get my friends that are violent that do. And I told people my video, I'm nonviolent except for if you bother Black women and children. And then me and Dr. King, I have to say, fuck his, you know, little preaching ass. Okay, this is a little midget pygmy preaching ass. You don't mess with women and children. Even Martin Luther King. In fact, I should pull out this book that I have called that nonviolent stuff will get you killed. And it's a book by Charles Cobb Jr. talking about all the people with guns that helped the civil rights movement. See, most people don't know when the folks were marching.
Can you give me that book again?
Let me go get it if you give me just a moment.
Go ahead.
Give me 1 second.
Go ahead. We are here live with Dr. Randy Short, talking about the bug breaking film, talking about current events going on in America, specifically in Black America. He's right now talking about what's been going on with Angela Stanton King. I want everyone to pay attention because she is challenging the alphabet rainbow colored community and some of the things that they stand for. So I want to, that's what he's breaking down, because y'all know when y'all listen to mainstream media, when you listen to what they say, they gonna screw the story all up. So you always want to hear directly from the people on the ground working with what's going on the grassroots. That way we have an accurate depiction of what's going on. And at the same time, if you have one of those friends that's always running around and you only believe what the mainstream media says about Black folks, they ain't even nobody to argue with, man. Just let them go, because no matter what you say, there are people out there who are always going to believe what white folks say. And it's unfortunate, but unfortunately, that's a real deal. Spread the information to those who have an open ear, who are at least willing to attempt to understand, and don't waste too much time on people who are permanently closed off. That is their decision. Respect it. But at the same time, those of you with an open ear, willing to hear, come listen to these messages that we're talking about right now, and let's make sure that we, be the solution that we're looking for. But yeah, it's a lot going on right now that Dr. Short is talking about, with the whole bug breaking. At some point later on, we will get into what's going on. For those of you who've been paying attention to Kwame Brown and what he's been talking about, with what's all that's going on and how black athletes are covered in media, and how basically how the news covers us as a people. We want to make sure we're gonna get into talking about that. For those listening, y'all know this isn't my normal setup, but we had to go ahead and record it. Thank you guys for listening to this recording. Usually we go live, but y'all know how it is with Dr. Short. Whenever he's on, it be other bullshit going on that we don't necessarily have control of. So in order to circumvent that nonsense, we recorded this broadcast. That way you guys don't have to worry about him going in and out. And y'all know the usual shenanigans that these internet companies be up to when we interview with one another. So I might actually start moving forward just doing most of my interviews with Dr. Short recorded. That'll be a great way of cutting down a lot of the BS. Get your live drum sample packs for the musicians out there. The link tree is in the description bar. I have my live drum sample packs for you music producers out there who want that soulful funk sound on the drums. Go ahead and get that. Also, we have my t-shirts, my Hotepish t-shirts, hotepish.com/apparel. You can get all your t-shirts. You can get the coffee mug. You can get the snapback hat, reparations now. All that good stuff is up on the website. And also remember, I have my book, No Time to Waste, a self-motivation guidebook, where I'm helping people who don't quite understand where they want to go next. And they want to figure it out. You don't quite know what it is. You're at a job that you don't like. You're not meeting your full potential. There's something inside of you that you don't have fulfilled. Get my book and also get the accompanying webinar where I break down the book and give you additional materials. All of that's in my link tree in the description bar. Make sure you take advantage. Welcome back, Dr. Short. I see you brought a stack of books over there.
Yes, just a couple. Wow. This is one, a really nice one, cheap too.
Amir, put it back up. I'm reading for those listening on later on iTunes. American Poison: How Racial Hostility Destroyed Our Promise by Eduardo Porter.
This one. I know you'll like this one.
Oh yeah, The Ancient Black Hebrew and Arabs, Amnu Mbatu and Gert Muller, Muller, M-U-L-L-E-R, for those of you listening. That's Gert, G-E-R-T, M-U-L-L-E-R.
This is one of the prophets of the white identity movement.
William Dudley Pelley.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was life is, it's still kind of small. Life in right-wing extremism. Okay.
And it's a really good one.
Okay, Anglo-Israel.
Yeah, this is where the big lie is that the original missing tribes of Israel are English white folks. It's British Israelism. The basis of really racist white fake Christianity is that they're the actual Hebrews, and we black people, the Philistines, we need to be destroyed. A lot of that's in the churches. That goes right there with white Jesus. It's a really nice one.
Pro-slavery and sectional thought in the early South, 1740 to 1829.
Right. I have this in stores, but I got another one.
The Invention of the White Race, Theodore W. Allen. Yeah, I got to get that book. I remember hearing about that, but you talked about that book before.
Yeah, well, I went and got one. That's why I love donations. Tell people to drop me a piece.
Please, for those of you listening, drop. I don't have my normal lower bar, so Dr. Short, tell them what your Cash App is, because I don't have it written in down here.
Oh, it's it's Dr. Randy Short, DrRandyshort. And also, if you do Zelle or PayPal, it's by email, which is wrandyshort@gmail. You can do it that way. And this is the book that I like. You can see they still got the cover on it. This Nonviolent Stuff Gets You Killed.
By Charles Cobb
Jr. His dad was a good friend of mine.
Okay.
And this is talking about how black people with guns saved Dr. King's ass and all the rest of them, talk about nonviolence. I just want to segue in that I'm all for nonviolence. I'm nonviolent even with the cat. I've not hit this cat, and it's come close to scratching me. I be nonviolent with self, be nonviolent with animals, except if you want to kill it to eat, But if someone bothers your women, your babies, people that you are responsible for or under your protection, use whatever means you can to protect yourself. This is where they failed at Black Wall Street. They were lending money to the same white people that burnt them out. Had they had a couple of machine guns and such, that wouldn't have gone down like that. See, they thought they were safe. And by the way, the story that you don't hear about Black Wall Street is that the black people in surrounding areas tried to get in literally to save them. And the whites had the area cordoned off to fight off, to repel people who had guns and such, so they couldn't fight.
Yeah, black folks were coming to come up and help save.
They had everything except for a defense force, because we think no matter how much people hate us, we're safe. We're paranoid of each other. Have you ever tried to be friendly with someone black and they would never let you be friends and they just couldn't trust you?
Mm-hmm.
But they trust every white, every Asian, every Arab, every extraterrestrial. Everything, as long as it's not black, it's good. And by the way, a lot of you sisters have that problem. I mean, they are asshole magnet. They can only deal with the dude that wants to treat them like a boxing partner. Dude that want to be nice. You faggot, I don't like you. You don't make me feel like the dude that slapped me. well, let me figure
you
out.
have a point.
Yeah, well, yeah. And so, and then a nice guy comes and she pull a butcher knife on him and threaten him and be all nasty to him. And then she get another dude to beat her up. And the only time she wants a good guy so she has babies she can't take care of. So basically, it's sort of like timeshare. Because it's no relationship. It's like a timeshare. It's not even a real apartment arrangement. So yeah, let's just talk. I'm talking about you tramps out there.
But I'm glad to hear you talking about that, Dr. Short, because that transitions into a little bit of what I want to talk about. I know it's been a revitalization of the talk of what true manhood is, and I know Judge Joe Brown's been on it for a long time now. Former basketball player Kwame Brown's been talking about that, and how athletes. I don't know if you know the backstory, but basically talking about how these black athletes are covered and how they're always marginalized, and how, and he's been getting in on a lot of people who just sit around talking all day and not really doing nothing about it. And how, basically anytime a man steps up and be a man, you got these feminists out here trying to shut stuff down. But you're starting to see a rise in brothers starting to speak up again for ourselves, and you're at the forefront of that movement also. Give me your opinion on that.
We have to rebel against feminism and Jezebelism. and sapphirism. Let's be honest. Black men are marginalized, and Black people are marginalized on every level. However, that shouldn't be a reason for us to stop. Just because you couldn't do this Zoom one way doesn't mean you don't do it another, right?
Right.
Just because we didn't get together at 2:30 doesn't mean we can't get together at 4. What Black men and women have done is recreated themselves or done what they could do. And only God can judge you if you're doing the best that you can. I want to make this clear. It's never, I think as long as you've known me, you never hear me criticize someone trying. I may not even criticize the person that doesn't try, but I do criticize someone that prevents others from trying.
Yes,
I do criticize someone that is making problems. I do. That's where you'll hear me say something. Otherwise, I'm talking about certain people. Why? They're doing the best they can. They're making it. If they're just taking care of their family, if they're just being the best mom or dad or whatever they can, God bless them. I see a lot of Black men who are beginning to wake up because we were lied to. I came up from a generation, I used to hear these things. Let me repeat some stuff. You young men are messed up, and we're just going to have to give everything to the girls. I would hear this over and over and over again. I'd be the best student in the class. What do you mean? Well, shut up, Short. So there's almost, and I would see this, well, you know, we have a competition between boys and girls, and men have won for so long, we're going to just give it to them. And I would see this stuff where, why am I losing because I'm a male? I should lose because I wasn't good, not just because, right? So there's been a whole lot in our community of discrimination based on sex against Black men. And Black men have typically been taught, suck it up. Like when you find out the woman that's giving you hell about being a bad father has 6 kids and 4 of them are by another dude when you DNA test them. And she's been worrying about whether you go to the bowling league, if you're 15 minutes home later than normal, all this stuff on you, it turns out that she's a whore. And she has no honor. This DNA stuff, a lot of things have opened up. You know, women thought it was going to just go one way where they could go after dudes for paternity. Whoever thought that this would start proving that maybe 1 in 3 men are raising children that are not biologically theirs. I mean, that there's a whole lot of hoes and tramps out there who've grandfathered being righteous moms based on what women may have once been, that a lot of them are not presently today. The court system, which is incredibly unfair. As in fact, one of the people that I know, the child didn't even want to be with the mother. The mother said she hated the child. The court still gave, the child wanted to be with the dad. The mom has gangsters with guns and drugs in the house. And the court's still giving the child to the mother who doesn't want him. And so a lot of men have been to this stuff saying, hey, wait a minute, she hates the kid. You're going to let her destroy the kid because she's the mother? And well, pretty much. A lot of men who've been through this court system. In fact,
you ain't lying.
There's another book I have, and if I don't have it, I'll just have to buy it, Rituals of Blood, that we're tired. You know, it's a Black woman supervisor that let Eric Garner be choked to death. There are a lot of these things where people start looking, saying, wow, whose side are you on? A lot of Black women are incredibly disloyal to the Black race. A lot. And it's been given a pass. So she's a strong woman and she's got to do it. And in reality, she's an asshole with a pussy.
Very true.
Bitch for short. Stacey Abrams is a butch. Bottoms in Atlanta. She's like Jane, I suspect, swinging both ways. This little mayor that has the white husband that looks like Lurch from the Addams Family up in Chicago.
Uncle Mammy.
No, you mean Beetlejuice. Okay, and then you got Jaws here in DC, the one that looks like Arsenio with an overbite.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of these Black women, for that matter, Candace Owens, you got a lot of game playing, traded type sisters. And I'm not mad if folk make money. I'm not mad if you become rich and famous. I get mad when you hurt the rest of us for yourself. So when you're more loyal to your white zaddy or to your white female girlfriend or whatever, like Black Lives Matter leadership, and one of them's married to a white woman, these lesbian traitors in our community, they have really angered Black men. It's angered Black men that when you get folks like Maxine Waters, you have no love for Black veterans down on Skid Row, but you're fighting for illegals at the border. Now, you supposedly are a sister. Why don't you advocate for us at least some of the time? You know, as Stevie Wonder said, be a part-time lover.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not even part-time.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of this ignorant stuff, and a lot of Black men are getting angry. They've experienced situations of being lied on. You have sisters doing swatting, not just white people where they call, so the police will kill them.
They call the police.
Right, to get the man killed. I had a situation, a woman's mad I wouldn't go out with her because, one, you can't screw someone that you teach when you're a teacher. I mean, what does that broad not get about that? That's a conflict that could get me fired. So they end up reporting to get you in trouble. You know, there's a big custom in the South when a Black woman gets mad, go to the job and talk bad about him. The white people fire the man. It's not even his job. And you can't keep the woman from coming to your job. Can you? What the hell is that? And that goes back to the plantation system, that the Black woman could always report the Black man to white people to deal with him.
Very true.
That the Black woman is operating as an agent of white supremacy and racism and white power in the Black home. And a lot of Black men are looking into this. There's a very good book by Sage Press. It's hard to find. I got a copy somewhere, 2 copies. One here, Black Men in Divorce. You know, Black men get the most unfair divorce settlements of any group of men in the country. I have a cousin who's paying $1,500 a month to a woman he divorced 30 years ago.
Wow.
She's
30 years ago?
She's remarried. He's retired. He's still paying her alimony.
And she's married?
Absolutely. They won't change it. Someone forged his name on documents. I'm serious. It's like child support. Black men are the most faithful in paying child support, yet most report it as the most unreliable fathers, which is a lie. And that's a lie told by Black women. Black women lie too damn much. Too many games. Some Black men don't do it, but most do. And that's with less money, less opportunities, less everything than white men. White men and Latino men and Asian men, they do what they want to do. The Black men who've experienced white supremacists with Black vaginas are angry and are not going to be silenced. And it used to be, if you even talk with me, you're a faggot. So nobody wanted to be called a faggot, although they're all butches. A significant number of married housewives are lesbians. I'm talking to someone. In fact, my little monologue I was going to say to you is to say, you know, people ask me, isn't it unfair to use the word bitch? And I'd say, I don't think so. Say, why not? Because I keep seeing the behavior manifested and demonstrated on a day-to-day basis. And so I say, well, how so? How do you see, what's an example of a bitch that you'd see? And I say, well, a bitch is a person that fucks a nigga once a year and it's not even on Father's Day. Okay. That's right? Not even on his birthday either. I mean, so one day they decide to be generous, you know, right? In the year. Okay, what if he didn't cut the grass but once in a year? What if he didn't work but once a year? Now that would be World War 50.
Yeah.
But if they screw once a year, well, I mean, he's lucky. Man, right? So a lot of dudes have roommates. So I know of one man whose wife would screw 4 times a year. And turns out that broad goes out and gets several venereal diseases and comes back and tries to screw their husband when they look sick. So they can give it to him and then blame him for infecting her and then divorce him off of what she did. Mm-hmm. And the courts are it's biased. You want to get information on divorce, whatever, these things are set up to protect women, and women should be protected. However, I don't think law-breaking, liar, criminal, fraud, slick chick types should be protected, because that's a criminal. It's the same way if a woman accuses you of rape and you get messed up in all this and it turns out not to be true. Why isn't her ass thrown in jail 5-10 years? Teach that bitch to tell the truth. Don't lie. There are a lot of women out here that get hurt and assaulted. They need to be protected. The men and or women that do this should be punished to the full extent of the law. But if someone accuses falsely, they should be punished. There are a lot of women that are into child support fraud. I know one that died like 2 years ago. You defraud a man out of $50,000. He almost ended up homeless behind having to pay child support when the children weren't even lived with the mother, that were of age and had moved on. The mother lied and said they were in college, so she got it for another 6-7 years.
Wow.
And when you go in, by the way, when he tried to go to court to find out what's going on, she didn't even show up in court. The court didn't even do anything about it. Now, had you been required to come in for a hearing, they would have brought you in chains if you didn't show up. They're not going to issue a bench warrant to a sister if she's doing something like this. I don't want the women in chains, but I do want this criminality to stop. So for my cousin, who is paid $1,500 or more every month to a woman who's remarried and moved on, that's robbery.
It is.
And he's in his 70s and he's still paying to the wife that's not to the ex-wife. And basically, I know from talking to his new wife, people just said, just pay it. They couldn't say that to a white male.
No, hell,
okay.
Not
So
only would they even try.
My point is, but sisters, a lot of rogue, dishonest sisters benefit from Black men having the hardest time, and they have fun with it. And there are certain men who've seen this who are angry about it. Do I think fathers should pay child support? If I sent you my my latest article, I lay out Black men that are not responsible for their children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you'll never hear me defend. I'll never hear me defend that. But where are the women policing Black women? And I find this is a deficit in almost 100% of the women I know. They're incapable of holding one another accountable. And this may be why women shouldn't be in political positions or positions of authority. If you can only get upset with men because of feminism, but you can't deal with women because, well, we're all sisters, so we have to stick together, right or wrong. That's craziness.
Yeah.
See, that's what they accuse men of doing, the good old boy system, which does too exist, which does too discriminate against women, which does too hurt women, and I'm against that. But where is my female counterpart who's against women that do it? You won't meet them often. You don't. You will not meet it. It's not. And this is where the men are saying, to hell with this. You mean, I'm serious. If you've ever...
You're right about that, because you've been on the forefront. Black men will call out these boule style systems that circle and huddle around these groups of Black men who huddle up together to undermine us as a whole. We don't say, hey, those are men, so we ain't gonna do that because that's the brotherhood. It ain't no brotherhood with a group of niggas that's gonna sit around and undermine the rest of us.
That's exactly right. And so fundamentally, brother, fundamental, the women have been derelict on all of these. Where's the Black women that fight abortion and eugenics? I mean, this woman, Washington, medical apartheid, this woman's put together a dynamic book. This should have been
Harriet Washington.
Harriet Washington. You know, I was listening to that on tape on Amazon. Look, the Black women have lost. They're as lost as the Black men are. The only difference is the media masturbates and manipulates and lies. And strong Black women. You know, they never said that about Latino women or white women or Asian Pacific women or Native American women. They only said it's about Black women. And you know the dumb fucks that don't see that? Black women. And the only reason certain Black women waking up is because we're talking to them undiplomatically, because they didn't get the clue when you tried to say, hey, sister, you tried to, and they just, but if I say, you stupid bitch, blah, 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 then all of a sudden they hear you. Wow.
Here's the thing about it. Like,
I
there a
can't
lot of
talk.
them, they're mad at people like you. Like, so not people follow, but there are women who will sit down and say, I don't like the way Randy Short says it, or I don't like the way Kevin Samuel says it, or Jason Black, the way they say it. And that's been the excuse for so long. And I'm like, look, hold on. These people ain't saying nothing that Shahrazad Ali ain't been saying for the last 30 years. Y'all didn't listen to her. And then when men try to say it calmly, you don't listen. Then all of a sudden the man says, you know, you need to shut up and listen. Now
you have to put that on there, but it's a powerful word. Look, when you do go in, you know what they're reacting to? That they're liars about? You're acting like a man. They ignored you when you were calm and diplomatic because basically that's the way women talk. So when you come and you're a beta male, they don't hear you. When you're alpha male, how dare you be alpha? And get that bass out of your voice. And a lot of sisters wonder why a lot of men are jacked up. A lot of it has to do with their mothers and who's raising them. And also, y'all have a very sick culture. Yes, we do. Think of it this way, and I always bring it up. When you start talking about favorite vocalists of a lot of sisters, it's men with very high-pitched voices. Hey, baby, right? He almost has to be a soprano. We're the only men that have to sing like a soprano to reach on women. Garth Brooks doesn't have to sound like Tammy Wynette to reach white women that like country music. So you got Prince.
And it's funny you said that. I've heard women say Barry White sound like a pervert.
No, Barry White has a bass or a baritone voice, the ordinary range for men. A man has to be, yes, that's right. The man has to have longer hair, all of this. The black man has to literally look like a trans woman and sound like a trans woman for certain sisters to feel he's pretty. Then you wonder if you put that out in the cosmos, dumbass sisters, a lot of folks are going to want to be woman-like. When you need a man to be a man, he's too busy trying to get you being a woman. So, I mean, as much as I like Michael Jackson or any of these other people, you start looking at them, Frankie Lyman, all of these people going back, the further along we get, the more the voices, we don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. And he died of AIDS. Thinking that, right. All of these switch, El DeBarge, and nice voices. I'm not going to take away from the voice, but why does it have to be so damn high? And the same thing in gospel. They don't write solo parts for people that are second tenors or baritone, as if the voice isn't good.
That's very true. I didn't really notice. You really do not see too many tenor, especially second tenor. You do not see too many of those solo. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? You don't, and even nowadays, when you listen to singers now, the few singers who do still sing soul, you don't hear that Teddy Pendergrass strong voice anymore like that.
Even though he was Teddy Tenderass, he sang like a man. They don't like manhood. Manhood it's Judge Joe Brown talks about it, and this is what Judge Joe Brown gets it wrong. Judge Joe Brown needs to understand that a lot of men are lesser men to get to the women. The women are saying, you know, I know someone right now out in California, good brother. His wife told him the only way we could remain married is that she would have to lead and control the family completely. She would not work with him. It was not an equal partnership. I have to be the dominant person. When he objected, she moved the family to the East Coast. When he moved to the East Coast, she moved to Japan.
Damn. And did you see that news release with Dwayne Wade saying that he doesn't lead his household? It just came out.
He doesn't lead his asshole. Why would he lead his household?
That's why, man, Kwame Brown, salute to you for being an athlete that's holding down for manhood, because you got cats like Dwayne Wade saying it's okay to walk around, get your booty licked out and all kind of shit. Mm-hmm. And we've had too much of that shit, man.
He's probably taught his son a trick or two. I'm trying to figure out why that boy is like that. And I was just saying, we were talking about Angela Stanton King earlier, and I was just so glad that I reached out to Judge and other people, and they've gathered Black men that said they're going to protect Angela. You know, she was on the Dr. Phil show, and Dr. Phil ambushed her with her own daughter and with this Black drag queen on there who calls himself a woman. And he looked like Wesley Snipes in drag. Come on, dude. You don't look like a woman. But what Judge and others get wrong is that some people are not being beta because they're beta. They're being beta because that's the default that the women are demanding for you to get with them. You can't be in relationship by yourself. If almost all the women out here are pork chop feminists or are proto-lesbians, or they want to live as if they're dudes with vaginas, then if a man wants to get with them, he's got to come off of being a man on a certain level to get these women that don't like manhood, that didn't grow up with the father. Let me tell you, have you ever gone or tried to go on a date with one of these sisters from a jacked up family, and you try to figure out, okay, let's see, the woman recommends a movie. You say, okay, great. And you say, well, you try to be fair, so you're not going to try to be in charge. Well, what would you like to see? I haven't quite made up my mind yet. She doesn't want you to make a decision going to see a movie. And you can't get her to say which movie she wants to see. But you know, the time's running out. So she says, well, let's go to see this. Well, you didn't listen to me. You didn't give me a chance. So basically, you can't do anything right. A lot of women like that are gay brothers. When you deal with a woman, you're always wrong. She's trying to build a case for her own busted self-worth or whatever to prove that men won't work, instead of the fact that she doesn't want to be with the man. Because a lot of women can't admit, they rather, you know, munch on carpet than be with the man. Which to me, be honest, you know, one of the first articles I published was an article published in the Harvard Crimson called "Please Pass Me the White Male." Someone snatched it and took it in Harvard Crimson, published, and then everybody was mad at me. And I was just talking about how the Black women at Harvard preferred white men to Black men. And I wasn't even saying don't want the white man. My thing is, don't say all Black men are bad, all Black men are monsters, because you want to screw someone on the crew team. It's not fair. Just screw the person on the crew team. I don't care. But don't say all Black men are robbers, liars, crooks. And that's why you had to do it. And they do the same thing, whether it's with a white woman, a white man, or if it's a Black woman. They look for a way to make all Black men bad to justify them being in the situation that they're in. That even includes having kids out of wedlock with multiple men. Well, nobody was willing to stay. I mean, of course, once you have 12 kids, no one's going to try to stay. No one was with the old woman in the shoe. Why would they be with you? Right?
Dr. Short, because I know we got started a little late, so I'm going to have to leave pretty soon.
That's okay.
I want to put a button on this, and then we're going to come back and talk about this some more next week when we have our normal, extended time.
Right.
But, all of what we've been talking about today, people, for those out there listening, we've been talking about buck breaking, how the systematic buck breaking of Black men. Dr. Short was in the movie. We see Kwame Brown addressing it in his own way. Like I said, he hasn't acknowledged the movie. I don't even know if he's seen the movie or not, but he's talking about it in his own way. You see Angela Stanton King. I don't know if she's seen the movie, but she's having to deal with it. Oh, she has. Okay. But she's having to deal with it as a woman in her own way, because like Tariq says in the film, buck breaking starts with the men, but it's really about the Black family. It's really about breaking the Black family. And Dr. Short is giving you some insight, further insight, more than what he could have told you in the movie when it comes to that. Take as much time, Dr. Short, to go ahead and, tie a button on how this all ties back into the buck breaking of the Black family. Okay. Take as much time as you want.
Well, I'm going to simply say, my quote from the film is the foundation of our people is the family. The Black family has always been under attack because if you can get one institution, you can get others. So if you can break the family, there won't be Black banks, Black schools, Black anything, if you can just destroy that. And how do you destroy the family? You destroy womanhood, But first you have to get manhood. If you can take down the men, like any conquest of the people, if you take out the men, you can rape the women and children. That's the Turkish method. And we're dealing with an existential struggle. And I will keep saying this, the greatest weapon that we can have is morality. Morality includes being an actual man that's upright, that keeps his word, that's a straight shooter. And the same is so for an upright woman, a real woman. And that, of course, you should like each other. And let me add this. Being upright as a man means that you don't hate other Black men. And at the same time, you don't have a twisted attraction where you're interested in his nutsack or his rectum or his sheath, but not him. We have to have a system where we as men have a kind of commonwealth, agape love for each other where, you know, if you call and ask me, brother, I always try to help you. I don't say, oh, I won't. And I treat you the same as I would treat anybody that proves to me, at least on a face basis, a prima facie basis, that they're okay. I'm okay if you're okay. So I have love for you, have love for a lot of the brothers, and the sisters should have this kind of love and sisterhood where you don't want another woman's man. A man doesn't want another man's woman. And I care enough about the next man, and even if I'm single and I'm childless, I want your kids to go to a good school. I want your children to get the kind of vocational, professional, or academic training. Even if I don't personally need it, my people need it. We should care for the old and the aged. The one area where they're attacking us is in our ability to love one another in an honorable and sacrificial way. That's reciprocal, which means you should love me back, right? It's the same way if I ask you for something, I don't try to ask you for much. You always try to comply, right?
Yes.
And that's fair. And I try to do, and that's, if we did this is what they're afraid of, which is why the slave code said specifically they didn't want 2 or 3 Black men standing together. Their fear is our solidarity. And their fear is if if you can be an upright man and form solidarity with others, you might be a Nat Turner. And your children may be Nat Turners, and Nadia or Natalia or Natalie Turners. And your wife may be like Fannie Lou Hamer. You see, we're in a struggle. One, not that we want it, this has been imposed on us. A war has been declared on us by people who profit off of our degraded, commodified state. The antidote to that is for us to have families, to have morality. And what that morality means, not only do you love self, when you love something, you'll fight to defend it. You don't care who it is. If you try to reach your hand into any kind of animal home, rat, mouse, cat, dog, bumblebee, ant, even though you can smash them, they'll swarm you. I know you're going to get me, but I'm going to try to get you too. If we had the fortitude of cornered rats as a people, none of this stuff could happen to us. None. So we have to, buck breaking, when you break people down sexually, psychologically, spiritually, all of that, you can do whatever you want. You can get a man like Billy Porter to run around and talk about his pussy to kids. He ain't teaching no Black history. Only thing Black about him is his STD test to come back. Okay, I said it about silly ass Porter. That you will get people like Lizzo, you know, the little fat girl with, and how's a Black? I don't even know if she's really Black. She's got an ass as flat as my photography lamp here.
That's what I don't get. I don't mind big, but goddamn, how's your ass like a washboard? And you got all that meat, did none of it go to your backside?
That's got some rolls in it, but then she does have fat ripples in there. Adipose tissue stacked up. I mean, she looked like something out the Waffle House. Okay. You want to do it in the dumpster? No. And she gets stuck trying to climb in a little side door that slides. Look, buck breaking is saying to us that there's an attack on us from people that are ruthless, who fear us. They fear Black masculinity. They fear true Black femininity. They don't mind Lezzo. They don't mind the red table talk broad. They don't mind that. They mind real Black men and women coming together because it's a very powerful unit, a very powerful force. And this is why they always discourage marriage and childbearing. They're basically saying, give up your power so we can continue to dominate, exploit, rule, exterminate, and eugenicize your asses. And thus far, we've been listening. But I do think as things get worse and worse and worse, people are beginning to see we were lied to. And frankly, Dr. King and all the other people, they did the best they could, especially with his mistresses. But it's left to our generation to have a great awakening of coming back together, rediscovering what's right, what's wrong, and how to live and stand together, because it's not going to get easier. See how the Asians now are saying Black people done this stuff to them. You know, everybody, pretty soon the extraterrestrials would be down here talking about how they're the victims of hate crime from Black people. And they would put that all on TV. We have to understand that we are in the crucible of hatred. There are more of us than what they say. They're lying in the census and everything else. And it won't get easier. We've got to, first of all, acknowledge as Black men that we have been broken and that we need each other, and we need to heal, repair, give amnesty to those that will, and build a movement not to assimilate, not even to hate anybody else.
Yeah.
But to give a damn about ourselves, to give a damn about those born and those unborn, to give a damn about the seniors, and do better than what the boomers have done, and better than what my generation X has done. And if we don't get that, if you're looking at all the murders of Black women and children by simp-ass, punk-ass young Black men, and they always have fucked up hairdos. I mean, look, I need to get a haircut. I never thought that my hair would be kept better than the average person, Black walking. I'm shocked, and I'm like halfway presentable. You know, you see these dudes walking around, they look like a Afrocentric comedic Raggedy Ann and shit, shooting people. I mean, what the hell? Come on. So, buck breaking. There is a plan to destroy us as men, and then destroy the women, and then abort or just get the children, rape them in foster care or whatever. And then we're done as a people. Mm. It's left to us, because let me tell you, in certain countries like Argentina, where they had a large Black population that was enslaved, and then they were able to effectively wipe out most of them and make them disappear. These people committed a crime for 400 years, and if they can wipe out the Black man, and they can use LGBTQ and stupid ass pork chop radical lesbian feminists and so forth to take down the Black man, therefore the Black woman is taken down, and so is the Black family. Mm-hmm. They will get us to wipe ourselves out, say we have no idea why this population just suddenly was in large numbers and then it died off, and must have been like a meteor or something that hit Yellowstone Park and its gases just killed Black people. We don't know why. We're going to still research that. They will have gotten away with the greatest crime in history, and we will have facilitated it. Come together or die and hang separately. Even white folks do that with the revolution, the American Revolution. We've got to get together. And again, notice that my conversation isn't about hate whitey, kill whitey.
None of it.
I don't have those kinds of, because it's, my dad used to say, they always say, hate whitey. But when they say they hate whitey, they always kill blackie. So if you got hate in your heart, the people you're going to kill and destroy and hurt are Black people. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather you have love in your heart. You can have rage against injustice, but don't hate, because it poisons you. I have never met a Black person that was full of hate, that said they hated white people, that didn't hurt primarily Black people. And I'm not saying running around French kissing Nazis and Klansmen, But I am
Yes,
saying
yes, yes,
stop the
yes.
drive-by shootings in our community, stop the raping, stop the killing, stop the carjacking, stop it in God's name, stop.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's all I want to say. I mean, Buck Breaking didn't give that message, but there'll be others. And I am so happy that they're Black men. And I know I have been writing about this stuff. The first article I wrote was in 1999, attacking pork chop feminism. It was called Finding Love by Any Means Necessary.
Ah.
I said to Black men, if they need to go to Brazil, like I did, and meet some Black women that want to create a Black family, we have to. In fact, it is the duty of Black men to stop being simps. Stop begging for pussy. It's like begging for a sandcastle on the beach. Okay, it's plenty. Stop begging.
You
There's someone. I mean, you will find somebody that will let you be the man in the relationship. Make certain that you're a man. If you have your ass hanging out with booty juice staining the seam of your drawers, no woman should want to be seen with you dead or alive. Okay, I wouldn't want you at my funeral where I could see dookie liquid stool stains in your drawers and your pants are hanging off. We have to be real men. And if the women aren't here, if I moved in with an Eskimo, the family would be Black. So we have to tell the Black women, whoever I get with will be Black. It would be nice if you could find it at home, because if you find a righteous Black American woman, which is a rare jewel, you find a really good Black American woman that understands and knows the Temptations and the Delphonics, and they know how to cook, and they know a little bit about James Dean and pray the Lord, right? The sisters that understand our culture and history, you got one like that, you need to thank God for. You better never cheat. I mean, I hope, Freddy Krueger cut your dick off with a butcher knife. If you get a good Black woman that had a dad in the home and she loves her daddy, you belong on Rikers
you
Island on
ain't
death row.
you ain't lying. That's my wife. She
Good,
got all that down.
there's some very righteous Black. If you get one of them, hold
Yeah.
on.
Hold
I mean,
on.
hold on to the. There are great Black women, but there's a lot of competition for them if you know what to look for. There's a lot, there's a lot out here, but a lot of it, more isn't necessarily better, right? It's like doo-doo. I mean, more doo-doo is too bad. It's just better there's less doo-doo. If it's a good American sister that loves her dad, she ain't trying to be gay behind your back and make you pay for it. You need to seize hold of her. And if you can't find that, we Black men will be mail ordering Black women from other countries. Yes, we're going to get some green card holes and replace. In fact, we're going to outsource the jobs of the lesbian pork chop feminists, where y'all going to end up being old and alone because the Black men found another source of booty where the woman was nice and she knew how to cook and she was godly and she didn't think abortion was like getting a facial. Okay. This is the movement that we're pushing. By the way, folk give me death threats and everything. Do you know guys were able to get sex from women at Howard by saying they hated me? One would just go down on them because they wanted to stop what I was saying. Yeah, and they destroyed the thing at the newspaper. They were mad at all these women and they had meetings and so forth. But by the way, when I write articles trashing Black men, one I wrote was Buckwheat and Virtual Reality, Stupid Black Men in the Information Age. When I was talking about simps, nobody noticed that I came as hard on brothers as I did on. Actually, I didn't say as much about sisters. I think the thing that offended them was I was saying that the God of the obese Black woman that think God's going to send them a man in church is Colonel Sanders. And this is where people want to riot and people are trying to get me put out of school. All I did was give an opinion.
That's real talk.
So yeah. Come together, love somebody, and you too can sister love a sister and not be a lesbo thing. And Black men need to love each other, not lust each other. If a man's ass is the highest thing that you aspire to, or his nutsack, or his penis, I mean, it's like a dead end. I mean, how are you going to drive NASCAR through a dead end? you go over the
Yep.
cliff or something,
Yep.
you
Yep.
it is that these things that they're pushing are all designed to prevent our numbers from being significant enough to challenge them. Immigration is based around that. All of these things are based around Black folks' numbers being reduced. So if there was a struggle for power or resources, that that they would get the most, that we wouldn't be able to fight for it. I'm not advocating fighting nobody except fighting against evil. But I mean, if it does come to a fight, if someone insists on it, well, give it to them. But let it be, as Malcolm said, be law-abiding. But if someone puts their hands on you or your children or any of that, make them regret it. That's all I have to say, my brother. You hear this selfishness now making noise. They're mad that they see me on live. This cat is a trip, man.
Well, thank you guys for listening, because we will to this broadcast with DrRandyshort. We gonna have some more stuff coming up, and again, salute to the to the fellas out there, to the Black men speaking up, and salute to the Black women who are who sit by and allow the Black men to speak up without jumping in the middle of it, and for the Black women who speak up to other women about accepting responsibility and giving us space to do what we do. Because at the end of the day, Black men are at an age where you don't have to give us anything, we gonna take it. So it's best that the best practice that people can have right now is to listen to the essence of what we're saying. And if you're out of alignment with that, do what you need to do to be in alignment with that. Because if you don't do what you need to do to be in alignment with that, Black men are gonna win anyway. So you may as well get on board right now, because anytime we speak up, anytime we act, we win. The only time we don't win is when we sit down and allow things to happen. But when we step up, we win every time. So everybody else may as well get in line.
That's right. And we need to stop pretending that there's two races. There's a Black male race and a Black female race. There's only a Black American people, just one. And pork chop feminists and sex slave simps, all of y'all are going to hell. You know what? Chucks and pearls will not save you from the wrath of the angry, awakened Black people. I stand by this message.
I stand by it. So again, thank you, Dr. Short. Go to the link in the description box. It's going to have Dr. Short's Cash App and all of my links down there. Thank you. Y'all have a good night. Oh, remember this. There are no perfect messengers. Only perfect messages for those who are willing to pick up the game. My name is Dwan B. We out.
Stay white.